Chris, you there?
Yes, we are
Okay.
good to go. Sorry
Cool.
about the delay.
No problem. Good evening. I would like to call this evening's Westfield, Washington Township Advisory Plan Commission meeting to order for July 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Staff, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Bungafist, Mr. Horke, Mr. Khan,
Yes.
Dr. Keene, Ms. Carlson,
Here.
Mr. McCarty,
Here.
Mr. Mooney,
Here.
Mr. Neal,
Present.
and Mr. Woodard. We have 6 present, which is a quorum.
All right, Chair declares the presence of the quorum. Thank you very much. I do not have any items that were being changed on the agenda, so the agenda is as is presented tonight. First item on our agenda is the approval of the previous meeting minutes from July 1, 2024. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections? If not, otherwise I'd entertain a motion.
I'll move for approval of minutes of July 1st.
Motion by Mr. Keene. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Khan. Any further discussion? Since everybody is in the room, I believe we can take this on a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Please let the record reflect that Mr. Woodard is now present. Next item are the rules of procedure from staff. Staff, if you please would cover those.
Yep, so for this evening, we have one public hearing item. So for items that require a public hearing, tonight's meeting has the following structure. The department will summarize the petition, then the petitioner, in this scenario, the city of Westfield, will give a short presentation to the Plan Commission. The president will open a public hearing. Individuals will be given 3 minutes to speak. Those representing a group will be given 5 minutes to speak. Only one member of the group will be given 5 minutes to speak. For efficiency purposes, we ask that those representing a group speak first. The public hearing will be closed when all interested members of the audience have had a chance to be heard and all emails received during the meeting have been provided to Plan Commission members. The petitioner will then be given 10 minutes to respond to comments without interruption. The commission will follow with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the petition. This may include additional discussion with the petitioner. And then we just had some general rules of conduct for this evening. Please do not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, then we ask that you please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time. If you must answer them, then please quietly exit the room. If you are attending in person and wish to speak in regard to a petition scheduled for a public hearing, then please line up along the west wall once the public hearing is opened. Please sign the speaker sheet as you approach the podium to speak. For efficiency purposes, we ask that those representing a group speak first. During your comments, please state your name, address into the microphone. And for the record, we ask that you please do not repeat previously stated comments. Your presentation will be timed and you will be advised when there are approximately 30 seconds remaining. If you are not attending in person, comments regarding a petition, they should be emailed to planners@westfield.in.gov with the petition name or number included in the subject line. Those comments will be forwarded to the Plan Commission members and the petitioner. We would like to remind everyone to please speak directly into the microphone so your comments can be put onto the record. Also, please mute your microphone when not speaking. If you come to the podium to speak, please ensure that the microphone is on as indicated by the green light on the base. Thank you. And with that concludes our rules of procedures. And just a friendly reminder for Plan Commission members, when you're speaking this evening, just make sure that your green light is on and your microphone is on. That way the YouTube recording can pick up the discussion this evening. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. We have 2, Westfield Schools Cultural Center and South Park Industrial. What is the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Moved to approve by Mr. McCarty. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by, I couldn't hear that, Mr. Khan. Second by Mr. Khan. Any further discussion? Oh, I'm sorry. Who said it? Mr. Woodard. I'm sorry. I didn't hear who was down there. Mr. Woodard was this. Everybody seconded the motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Rogers, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Khan,
Yes.
Dr. Keene,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Mooney,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
and Mr. Woodard.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consent agenda is approved. Next item on our agenda is the public hearing for this evening, 2407 ZOA-02, the Road Impact Fee Ordinance. Mr. Jonathan Nail here to present. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. For the record, Jonathan Nail, Director of Public Works, City of Westfield. This will be fairly quick on my end. I was here 2 weeks ago to present the zone improvement plan, to include the road impact fee study. And this is just the next step in that process, which is the ordinance itself. Per IC 36-7-4-605, APC provides or certifies a favorable recommendation, or hopefully a favorable recommendation to council, and then it'll be on the agenda on next Monday to council for final approval. There's a 6-month wait period before the new ordinance goes into effect. And so if all approvals are made in the schedule that we've laid out, our new road impact fee ordinance rate would go into effect January 22nd of 2025. Just to point out, this is very similar language to our current road impact fee. There may be a few updates based on statutory codes that have changed since the last time we ran through it. But functionally, the road impact fee is the exact same as our current. The only exception would be that our rate this time around will be a flat rate, the $362.44 that was presented on. Based on our legal team's recommendation, they recommended a flat rate for the 5-year period. So that's what we are proposing in this ordinance. With that, I'll be quiet and take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Nail. Before we get to commissioner questions, I believe we'll have to open the public hearing at this time. So we'll bring you back up here, provided there's anything for you to respond to. As Mr. Rogers stated, if you are here to speak in person, please come to the dais over here to the side, sign up. Also, anyone that's online, if you're looking to speak, please email planners@westfield.in.gov. Is there anyone signed up to speak before I open the hearing as of current?
We have no one signed up at this time.
We'll go ahead and open up the public hearing at 7:07. If you wish to speak, please approach. We'll give it about a minute to see if anyone comes online. Were there any emails prior to us opening the public hearing?
I have not seen any emails come through prior to the public hearing.
We'll give it about a minute.
John, have you received any emails? Okay.
We'll
Yeah,
come
no
back
emails
in-
from Public Works as well.
Very good. We'll come back in about a minute and see if anyone online participates or anyone in the room. Otherwise, we'll move forward. Anyone else come online to say anything via email?
I've received no further emails.
Okay. Going once, going twice. This public hearing is now closed at 7:08 p.m. Mr. Nail, is there anything you'd like to respond to?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Commissioners, questions, comments, concerns? I see and hear none. Mr. Keene.
I just want to ask a question. This is good for 5 years. I assume it can be reviewed more earlier than the 5-year mark, though with inflation being where it's at, and if it doesn't abate, construction costs and everything.
With the caveat that I am not a legal representative, but my understanding is yes, we could review it more earlier as needed, update a new zone improvement plan, and go through the same process earlier than 5 years if we felt the need to do so.
I just had a quick question. What is the 24-hour generated trip? Can you define that? So it says $362.44 per 24-hour generated trip.
Yeah, so that is the number of trips in a 24-hour period that a certain use would generate. So I think I talked briefly last time about what a trip was. So as an example, let's say you leave your house to go to the grocery store. You're getting your car and driving to the grocery store, you're getting your groceries, and you're coming back home from the grocery store. That's actually 2 trips. And so for you personally, that grocery store had generated 2 trips in that 24-hour period. Now multiply that across the number of residents that go to the grocery store, and that's the number of trips generated in a 24-hour period. They just specify that it's a 24-hour period during the weekday. because some uses have different trip generation for weekends versus weekdays.
Got it.
So
Thank you.
just keep it consistent. Yep.
Any further questions from commissioners? Mr. Nail, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Looking at an email that I received from Weston Rogers on the kind of the process of this, we do need to first vote. This is a recommendation vote, so we first need to suspend the rules to not send this to any further consideration on our end, and then a second vote to approve. So the first motion that I would entertain is whether or not this board would like to suspend the rules in order to give a recommendation this evening. Motion by Mr. Woodard. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McCarty. He got to it first. Any further discussion? Mr. Rogers, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Khan,
Yes.
Dr. Keen,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Mooney,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
and Mr. Woodard.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The rules are suspended. The next motion to be considered is whether or not to recommend this road impact fee document to the city council. Is there a motion?
Motion for a favorable recommendation to 2407 ZOA 02.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion by Mr. McCarty, a second by Dr. Keen. Any further discussion? Mr. Rogers, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Khan,
Yes.
Dr. Keen,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Mooney,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
and Mr. Woodard.
Yes.
The motion
Motion
passes.
passes, and we have a favorable recommendation to city council. Thank you, Mr. Nail, for your time. We have no other items under public hearings. We have no workshop items. Items that are continued to a future meeting. We have Osborne Trails, which has been sitting there for a little bit. iBeach 31 came off after our meeting, Wednesday meeting last week, if I believe. I think there was some renderings that didn't get in under the deadline, so we'll see them at our next workshop meeting, I believe, probably a month from now. And then the courtyards are also continued. Moving on to reports and comments. Plan Commission members, anything for the good of the order? Seeing and hearing none. City Council liaison, Mr. McCarty.
Yeah, I'll try to be brief. Under presentations, we had a presentation from the mayor regarding our intervention with the Duke Energy rate case. We also had a presentation of the Hunden study from our Economic Development Director, Janelle Fairman. Wonderful presentation. Highly recommend to go take a look at that. And then under old business, we had just one ordinance, 2438, and that was for the appropriation of funds. And then new business, resolution 24126. That was something that we had approved, but then we had to approve it again. And funny story behind that. But anyway, then what we had previously approved with the zone improvement plan that was certified, resolution 24128, more fund granting, and for resolution 24129, that was for the exploration of land acquisition for the new police station. So that was it for City Council.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilor McCarty? Seeing none, do you have a Board of Zoning Appeals? I know there was a meeting, but I think we've decided to wait until our next meeting to hear that. Dr. Keen was not there, and Billy Bunkefist was there, but he's not here. So we'll hold that to next time. I am not aware whether the Plat Committee met or not, but even if I was, I wouldn't have any information on that unless staff would like to opine.
Yeah, I believe Plat Committee met, and it's my understanding that the Ravinia overall development plan and primary plat was approved.
Thank you very much. Community Development, any updates from staff?
No, nothing this evening. Thank you for your flexibility in changing venues this evening for our large public hearing audience tonight. But seriously, thank you for that. We'll be back on our normal routine next month. First meeting of the month in this building, second meeting back at City Services. And since July is a 5-Monday month, we have an extra week between, so couple weeks off. So
Very good.
thanks.
Thanks, sir. No other items on our agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. McCarty, seconded by Mr. Woodard. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 7:14.